Okay, guys, back with another one for you here. And it has been a while since I've come out with something here on the channel, mainly because there just really hadn't been anything that excited me in the marketplace from SEIKO, but every now and then they do something very interesting, and this one is without a doubt one of those things. Now, I think the remarkable thing about this particular new release from SEIKO is that its price point and what they deliver within that price point is excellent. But also some of the things that perhaps not everyone is looking at, I think look back towards some of the heritage within the SEIKO diving line. And although this particular item we're going to be looking at here today is really ultimately a reimagining of a sports diver, a 100-meter sports diver, it nevertheless connects in a number of different areas. And, well, let's get a look at it right here. Okay, well, let's get a look at this orange specimen. Is without question the one that really catches my eye. You can see the two of them here, the blueberry, the Batman, beautiful blue dial right next to it here, the 4R34 GMT movement, this SEIKO 5 GMT. And without a doubt, the blue one you can see here on the wrist, it is a handsome watch. Now, first impressions for me here with the blue one is right out of the box. The day-night 24-hour bezel, that blue there on the lower half really does stand out. Now, the blue on the dial of these, we've seen it before from SEIKO. You can see here with these Patty divers that I reviewed on the channel years ago, a very similar type of blue. The one that really stands out for me here is this Micon orange dial, the SSK005. 100-meter water resistance with these. So one of the things that probably is an essential to know about is that the crown does not screw down with these. So you're not going to get a 200-meter diving watch performance. However, we've got a hack and wind 4R34 movement. Now you can see here with this Hardlex crystal and really beautiful depth to that Hardlex 24-hour bezel. We've got a magnifier over the date window. And, you know, normally a lot of people gripe about the Cyclops magnifier, but in this configuration, it's actually very smart, very good looking. 24-hour chapter ring, deep dish, beautiful depth to the dial. We've got a 41-hour power reserve with this 4R34 movement, and then, of course, adding this GMT complication really changes the value proposition in a tremendous way at this price point. Gold, our hands. A lot of people are going to say, hey, wait a minute, why do we need to have gold on our sports watch, our diving-style sports watch? And you've got this almost pewter-colored or gunmetal-colored black arrow GMT hand. And you can see the very nice traditional SEIKO logo applied and in a polished gold there just below 12 o'clock on the dial. Reverse lollipop seconds hand. Nice balance to the way they've done the writing on the dial with the old retro automatic font and GMT in a different font. Probably one of the great things about this is ease of use. This new complication, you simply pull the crown out to the second click and you're able to adjust the date, and in the other direction you can move the GMT hand into the correct position that you are looking for, and then of course use your bezel and inner track to track another time zone. Now you can see here, orange dial watches are not a new thing, and even in the SEIKO 5 sports line, they've been around for quite a while. However, I think what we're looking at with this new configuration is a retrospective look at the old professional divers of the 1970s, the 7548 quartz, and other slim cases that later followed. You can see the SEIKO SKX orange, the beautiful lumed pip there, and the unidirectional diver bezel in gold. And of course, this model, when it came out, I really believe that's what we were looking at, was a retrospective of that. But I believe this new one we've got coming out probably looks back at these older versions. You can see here the 6309 from the early 80s. Before the 6309 was phased out, it did make its way into the slim case automatic diving configuration before the 7000 series came out. And you got a lollipop hand there in gold. You can see it's very smart, very handsome on a Jubilee, without a doubt. And that's what I think with the new stuff that we're looking at here today. We've got an excellent looking configuration that looks back towards that heritage. Now you can see the presence of the new model seems to stand out a little bit more in terms of size compared to the old slim case. And of course the old orange is more of a matte orange. You can see bicolor bezel really does stand out here in the light on the blue one. I got a good angle, and that lower half of the bezel really does pop, really does stand out. Excellent depth, that arrow hand in red, and of course the red GMT on the dial. And actually the SEIKO on this dial, I believe, is a matte finish, not polished, like on this one right here. You can see the polished finish when that gets in the light is a little bit different. And in this light, excellent. The bezel looks really terrific. 42.5 millimeters across, 46 millimeters long there, lug to lug, and excellent 13.56 tall. And this crystal really does stick up. I believe it's actually higher than usual. Okay, well, this is important. I think this is probably one of the most important parts of this new release. When SEIKO released the 7548, they also released one of their most famous OEM stock bracelets, the Z199. You can see some pictures of it here in new old stock condition. It was a solid link bracelet, and that is what we've been given here with this new release. It's excellent. All solid links all the way across, including the center links. And the other real kicker, and something that I think hundreds of people have talked about over the years on YouTube, is that the end links were never solid. Even in the Z199, you did not have solid end links. And you can see here on my 6309, these watches look excellent and feel great when you're wearing a Jubilee bracelet like this, especially in a hot summer day. Very comfortable, great flexibility. However, they rattle around and they sound very kind of cheap and noisy. Great flexibility, without question, but the introduction of a solid link bracelet, boy, that's a bit of a game changer. So I'd say at this price point, to get the comfort of one of these really great bracelets, you can see it here on my 7548. Again, these look terrific on one of these Jubilees. They really do cry out for something like it. They look great on rubber. Sometimes you just want to wear something a little bit more sophisticated when you're going out on the boat, you're out on the water, you're going even shopping. Something really nice to slap this onto your sports diver, your diving watch. Very comfortable. You can see here, only really ultimately hanging on by just two little pieces of bent steel. Now, the new one, solid end links. You can see here, triple ones at the solid end link. I'd give this one the nickname of the Z111, a beautiful solid piece of construction all the way around. Of course, you do still get the original trusty SEIKO stamped clasp, the flip lock. That is the same for the most part. But this construction here is terrific. It's the kind of thing you'd almost want to buy it separately to use it with your other slim case watches. And you can see, really does stand out. I have to make mention of this. I believe the Hardlex crystal has an additional height to it. I'm not precisely sure the amount, but it does seem to have a higher profile. And so you get this excellent refraction and light coming through in the edge of that crystal, showing the dial, in addition to the really nice depth of this beautiful Hardlex bicolor 24-hour bezel with the kind of yellowish gold lettering. And you can see here in this muted afternoon light that I've just adjusted it and kind of just showing it to you in this light. It takes on a whole new character. It really does look terrific in different kinds of light. And you can see it here on my wrist, almost 7.5-inch wrist in the lower light, totally different environment. Again, it takes on a really different character, really quite smart, very nice. That's bezel really does stand out in light like this, and so does that high Hardlex crystal with the polished, beveled edge there, and the Cyclops over the window. One of the great things about this bezel, it's probably not known by everyone if you're just looking at this for the first time, is that GMT function doesn't require for this to be unidirectional. That would be diving specification. So it is a smooth bi-directional action on this bezel. As you bring it around, you can go either direction. It's solid, but it is smooth. It just glides along with just the resistance from your rotating ring seal there on the inside. But really nice feel. And of course, the great thing is you can micro adjust this right to the precise point at the top there at 12 o'clock. Don't have to worry about those pesky QC problems that certainly have plagued SEIKO in the last number of years. But very nice presence there, very nice look. You can see it's not the first time SEIKO has done a clear glass material or lucite material. You can see here on my 7838 from the 1980s. Has some depth to it. It's a lot more narrow and kind of obscured by this overbuilt bezel on the 7838. But probably one of the best executions prior to this one that I've seen is the SNZH, the 55 fathoms, some people call this one. It's a beautiful Hardlex bezel with an excellent boxed crystal. You can see that one on my Instagram. So overall, the look of this one so far has really been impressive when you consider that this is in the mid-400s in terms of its suggested retail price from SEIKO. However, I am still at this point now seeing the price below that. How long that will last, I don't know, because I actually think the orange one is starting to be bought up a lot faster than the other two models, the black and the blue. Another thing I'll point out, and probably one of the last points that I think is excellent, is the finish on the lume. It's a matte finish. Now, if you've seen a number of SEIKOs in recent years, they've done different things. Blue lume, they've done sort of faux antique lume. I've seen it with a number of great models. The last one I reviewed, the Willard, had kind of a lume that had a different character to it. This is the kind of whitish lume, and you can see here on my, that's one of my favorite limited editions. You can see one of the first things I put on the channel all the way back in, I think, 2016 or 2017, the SEIKO Zimby. Now this turtle re-release, you can see the lume on there. If you get a close look, it has kind of a plastic pillow look to it. It's sort of shiny. I wouldn't say it's a cheap look, and it does perform very well. There's no question about it. But you can see through the crystal there, you get a closer look, that this has sort of a shiny sheen to it. It's just not quite the same thing as the lume here. You can see on the dial it has a matte finish, and it has a very nice look. It almost looks a little more, I don't know, almost more two-dimensional than the other one, whereas the other one kind of just feels like all one pressed piece. It may, time will tell. I mean, you can see here with my 6106 JDM how the lume, if you've got an old diver, it gets this incredible patina and kind of this beautiful butterscotch lume. Maybe one day, who knows, time will tell, this lume could do that because it's sort of a matte finish. It doesn't have that kind of clear coat finish on it. And again, I think that is in keeping with the traditional style of the diving line from the previous years. So we'll just have to see what we get with this new configuration. Again, on the wrist here in a different kind of light, very comfortable. This is an excellent bracelet. I'm going to be tempted to take this bracelet off and put it on my other slim case watches. That's the reality here. I really like this watch so far, and of course you could probably tell I have it now. I've purchased this and put it in my collection. I think it's one of those things that just, you had to get it into the collection, get a look at it, and it really was. So far, I really do think it's worth it here. Excellent presence on the wrist. Nice for the price. You cannot go wrong. If you're new to SEIKO, this was a nice place to potentially start. And if you've been collecting Seiko for years like I have, you might find that this is sort of one of those milestone pieces. It's a new in-house movement from them with an excellent complication. And although not a true GMT because of the jump hour limitation there, however, for what it does and its ease of use and the simplicity of it, I really do think it is an excellent value proposition within this space. And boy, it's just a handsome watch. And of course, putting this on other types of straps and different types of configurations is probably going to be something that will be excellent to do as well. But that stock OEM bracelet is something special. I really do think it is worth your time. Okay, well, let's get a final look here. And here you go. Again, in keeping with the past ways of how they do things, we're back to the green lume on this release. The green Lumibright with a matte finish. Excellent. And I have to tell you, I'm thrilled with it. I think it does look excellent. You can see here I'm in a room with plenty of natural light, and it's still, it burns brightly with just a quick blast from a LED torch. It gives you very nice visibility. You can imagine that this one's going to perform very well throughout a night when you need to see the time. It's the kind of lume that really does burn brightly into the night. Guys, what do you think about this one? I really do think it is impressive. I've seen a couple of videos. I'm certainly not first out of the gate with this one, but it was just the kind of thing I had to mention it and bring it onto the channel. It is an excellent looking entry-level watch. Guys, what do you think? This SEIKO 5 GMT, have you added it to your collection yet? Are you going to put it in? If you're new to Seiko, is this one that you've even considered, or are you hearing about it for the first time? Well, I got to tell you, it is. And I've been collecting for a number of years and have a lot of vintage stuff, so I really do feel that this one has a look to the future, and it's not forgetting about Seiko's past. Guys, what do you think about this one? Please leave a like and all those good things, and well, leave me comments. Tell me what you think. I'd appreciate it. It's good to see Seiko still doing new and extraordinary stuff in watches, and I love to see it, and I hope to do more stuff very soon.